All right, so I am glad we finally made it to this point. This is a problem that a lot of people are having an issue that people are having problems with. I hear it all the time. How can I, find motivation, to lose weight or, to eat healthy or to exercise? And that's a big issue for a lot of people. So that's going to be the focus of today's group call, how to create and maintain motivation. You do need to have a lot, or something to take notes with, paper and pens, because we're going to have about 4 exercises that we're going to work through today to help you with this. All right, so let's just get into it. There are 3 definitions of motivation that I am going to be going over. The first one is going to be the standard or implied definition of motivation. The next one is the basic definition of motivation. And then the last one is my definition of motivation, or the Bikini Mindset definition of motivation. All right, so right here we have the standard or implied definition. This is pretty much when people ask, like if you were to come to me and ask me, how can I get motivated to lose weight, or how can I get motivated to exercise? This is usually what it implies. It's forced action or forced inaction. How can I motivate myself to lose weight? Okay, when you say something like that, what you are really asking me is, how can I make myself eat healthy and exercise regularly long enough to lose weight? Or in other words, how can I force myself to do something that I really don't want to do? Something to note about this specific definition of motivation: it is faulty and counterproductive. So we are throwing this definition out. All right, we're not going to use it. The reason why is because, if you will remember, during the Psychology of Permanent Weight Loss module of the boot camp that we went through, self-control and willpower are futile. Self-control and willpower, they are limited, very limited resources. If you remember, you can only exercise self-control and willpower in no more than 2 areas of your life, and most often it's usually just one. And so you cannot depend on self-control and willpower, all right? And usually when people are trying to do that, making themselves do things that they don't want to do, that's what I call white knuckling. You're white knuckling your way through some actions to try and get, your end result. I'm not about self-deprivation. I'm not about white knuckling through anything. So what we're going to learn today is how you can stop doing that. All right, how to stop and bypass self-control and willpower to take the actions that you need to take to get the outcome that you want to get. All right, so having said that, let's talk about the basic definition of motivation. Every action is motivated by 2 things. And again, this is pretty much review for you guys. They're motivated by pleasure and pain, all right? Every action is motivated by 2 things, pleasure and pain. And you kind of see the little balance scale that we have. We're going to utilize that here in a moment. So first we need to, clarify a couple of things. Action versus outcome. All right, success is not an action. It is an outcome of an action, or usually it's an outcome of a series of actions or even inactions. There's some things that you can't do if you want to get success, right? All right, so applying this to weight loss. Weight loss is not an action, okay? It is the result of many consistent actions. One of these actions, one of those actions is eating clean foods at least 80% of the time, all right? So when you are saying something to me like, how can I motivate myself to lose weight? What you're really asking me is, how can I motivate myself to take the actions that are necessary in order to lose weight? All right, so success is not an action. It's an outcome of a series of actions or even inactions. All right, glad we got that cleared up. So that it's going to bring us to our very first exercise for this meeting. All right, so I call it a success exercise. It's number 1. First, we need to figure out what actions are associated with eating clean foods, for example. And actually, if you have a problem with exercising, say you're somebody who has no problems with eating healthy it's the exercise portion of, weight loss that you're having an issue with. Well, then you would, plug in exercise in place of eating clean foods. But my own personal experience in working with people when it comes to weight loss, it is usually the nutrition part of weight loss that most people are having a problem with. So in this specific exercise, I'm giving you an example. We're using the example of eating clean foods as the action, okay? So what actions are associated with eating clean foods? And I gave you some to kind of help you out to get the list started. Eating clean foods usually requires, meal planning, grocery shopping, cooking, meal preparation. And what I mean by meal preparation is, say you work out of the home, maybe 8, 9, 10 hours a day. And so, to make sure that you're able to eat clean, you have to pack your food, right? Or else you're going to be tempted to just grab a quick bite at, whatever fast food restaurant is nearest. And so meal preparation is preparing your meals at home, for the next day, putting them in little Tupperware dishes and stuff like that. So that's what meal preparation is, all right? And then, of course, there's more dishes that are associated with cooking, and then there's the relative, having to clean the kitchen afterwards. And so there is a lot of action associated with the action of eating clean foods. Do you kind of see that? So the main action is eating clean foods, and then underneath that action, there are a series of actions that have to be taken in order to achieve the action of eating clean foods, right? All right, so as many things as you can think of, what actions are associated with eating clean foods, list them out as many as you can. Okay, I got you a list to get you started. All right, so what actions are associated with exercising regularly? I went ahead and put that in there. Eating or getting up earlier than normal, going to bed earlier than normal, making time to go to the gym, going shopping for athletic clothing and shoes and stuff like that, taking more showers, more loads of laundry, and a couple of things I didn't add in there, which you can. If you're exercising, you have to fuel your body. So, you might have to get up really earlier than normal in order to eat something beforehand. And so there's a lot of actions associated with just exercising regularly in itself. And so just list all the actions that you can think of that it takes to be able to exercise on a regular basis, all right, that correlates with that. After you have all of these actions, every single one, what I want you to do is I want you to rate each action on a pain versus pleasure scale of 1 through 5. So 1 equals no pain at all. 2 or 3 would be neither painful nor pleasurable. 5 will be very painful, all right? So, how painful, or, what kind of a pain versus pleasure scale would you rate meal planning? Is that something that's not really painful to it at all? Or is it something that's very painful? Think of all the time and the effort that you have to put into meal planning for an entire week, right? And so how painful do you associate grocery shopping with? Cooking, meal preparation, doing dishes, cleaning the kitchen, stuff like that. And do the same thing for every single action that you listed for this exercise. Because what we're going to do is we're going to take those, those actions, and we're going to give you a really good picture of why it might be so difficult for you to lose weight. All right, so here's the second success exercise. Remember, I told you that the basic definition of motivation is, that each action is done for one of 2 reasons: the desire to achieve pleasure or avoid pain. So what you need to do is you need to figure out what pains are you associating with losing weight. Not just the action, but with losing weight in general. And it could be, just eating healthy might be painful to you. It's painful for you to not be able to eat your favorite junk foods. Anything like that. You may not be able to enjoy, your weekly night out with the girls, or you are, but it's going to be more painful for you because you're not going to be able to indulge in the foods that they are. So what pains are you associating with losing weight? Because I assure you, you do associate some pain with losing weight. Then on the flip side of that, what you need to do is you need to figure out what pleasures are you associating with losing weight. And we're going to plug everything in, and we're going to, you're going to have a list of pains and a list of pleasures, and you're going to get a really good picture why it is so difficult for you to get the motivation to do the actions that it takes to lose weight. And so this is pretty much what it's going to look like for you. We're using that scale. And so, on one side of the paper, you'll have pain. On the other side of the paper, you'll have pleasure. And then, you'll have all the pains, and then you'll have the pleasure, and then you'll pretty much see that all the pain that you are associating with losing weight far outweigh, what pleasure you might actually be associating. Okay, and what we have to do in order to flip that around is you're going to have to start to figure out ways to, not even balance it, but to get it more so that pleasure is going to outweigh any pains that might come from, losing weight. All right, so here is the Bikini Mindset definition, and this definition and the one we just got through talking about are going to tie into each other. The basic definition of motivation is not faulty, it's just incomplete. The Bikini Mindset definition is going to complete the basic definition so that we can flip the scale to where it needs to be. All right, so the Bikini Mindset definition of motivation is inspired action or inaction, the desire to take action or not take action. All right, and something to note is that action or inaction that is in alignment with your belief patterns, which are housed in your subconscious mind. And just to kind of give you a brief little tutorial on the power of your subconscious mind. Very important that you get some brief understanding on this. Your subconscious mind is what houses your belief system, which is responsible for your habitual thought patterns, which lead to your habitual emotional responses, which lead to your habitual motivated action or inaction, think habits, right, which will then lead to your outcome. So, and then talking about habits, they are automatic and usually hidden. You don't even really know that you have them. The whole point of subconscious is being hidden. And so, you're basically on autopilot to get whatever outcome, that you are receiving, whether it's a good or a bad one. And just FYI, your belief system or your mindset is either self-supporting or self-sabotaging, and you can tell whether your belief system, is good or not good or bad, but if it's self-supporting or self-sabotaging by the outcome that you are receiving. If it is difficult for you to do what needs to be done to get the outcome that you want, then your belief system is sabotaging that goal. It is set up to oppose whatever goal you're wanting to achieve, okay? Your belief system is under high security. It is there for a reason. Like I said, your subconscious, it doesn't know really the difference between right and wrong. Your conscious mind does, but your subconscious mind doesn't. All it knows is what it's been programmed with, what makes you feel comfortable, and it has a comfort zone, and it wants to keep you in that comfort zone. So anytime you try to take yourself out of that comfort zone, your subconscious mind will kick into overdrive whatever habits it's been programmed with to bring you back into that comfort zone. Okay, and so that's kind of what I mean by this belief system is under high security. It does, it doesn't. You're going to find some resistance when it comes to trying to overcome that subconscious belief system, but it is very much possible because your belief system is not hardwired, meaning it is not unchangeable. It is very much changeable. It takes approximately 56 days to rewire your brain with new habitual patterns. So that is kind of a, I don't want to say a warning, not at all. There's just going to be a period of not transformation, but transition. There's going to be a period of uncomfortable transition where you're going to have to do things, take actions that feel unnatural to you. But if you stick with it, and you stick with it for 56 days or more, your brain and your subconscious will become rewired with these new habitual patterns to where you're not even thinking about them anymore. So in other words, if you continue to eat healthy and eat clean foods and exercise on a daily basis for, 56 days, then it will come to a point where it becomes a habit, So you won't even have to think about it anymore. It becomes just part of who you are. All right, so let's talk about how an outcome is obtained. And this is the first bullet point that we just went over. So I'm just going to elaborate on that because that is basically the epitome of motivation. All right, so like we said, the habitual thought pattern will lead to a habitual emotional response, which will then lead to a motivated action or inaction, or think about habit, okay? So there's a thought pattern you have. It goes to some kind of an emotional response. It leads to a motivated action or inaction or a motivated habit, which is also habitual, meaning it's subconscious, which will then lead to your outcome, good or bad. All right, so this is pretty much how it looks for people who are having a really hard time losing weight when it comes to, because remember the 80-20 rule. 80% of your weight loss success is going to come from the foods that you put in your mouth. And then 20% will come from, whatever kinds of exercises that you are doing. So, you can work out for 3 hours a day, but if you are consistently eating junk food, you're not going to get anywhere. You're going to be like running on a treadmill. So this is why we're talking about the eating healthy part of losing weight. So we have an habitual thought pattern about eating healthy, which is eating healthy is painful, which leads to the emotional response where you dread eating healthy. And so the habitual motivated action or inaction is that you continue to eat unhealthy because it feels good. If you associate eating healthy and that is painful, then of course you're going to dread eating healthy, and so you continue to eat unhealthy because, eating junk foods to you is pleasurable, which leads to your outcome of either not losing weight or worse, continuing to gain weight. So how do we turn all of that around? How do we get to the outcome that you want? Well, that is success exercise number 3. We are going to reverse engineer to get the outcome that you want. So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up to the top. So what outcome do you want? Okay? What actions or inactions must be done to achieve this outcome? And I'm going to give you an example of these, but you do have to work these out for yourself. What emotional responses to these actions or inactions must you have? What thought patterns must you have in order to achieve these emotional responses? All right, and here's an example. So the desired outcome that you're looking for, obviously, is to lose weight. The actions or inactions that are associated with losing weight is you have to eat clean foods at least 80% of the time. That's one of the actions, right? And so the emotional response that you need to have in order to make that action one that is habitual and one that you're able to do on a consistent basis is you have to be excited about eating clean foods, right? Because when you are excited about doing something, do you really need motivation to do it? No. Do you need motivation to, spend time with your friends or your family? No, because you enjoy doing stuff like that, right? So in the same way, you have to be excited about eating clean foods. And so the thought pattern that you would need to get that emotional response is you have to be able to see eating clean food as being very pleasurable, all right? So we're plugging it in. This is what it looks like. All right, so eating clean food is very pleasurable, which gives you the habitual emotional response of I'm excited to eat clean foods. I enjoy eating clean foods, which leads to the habitual motivated action of eating clean foods at least 80% of the time. And then the associated inaction with that would be, not eating junk foods. So, you know what I mean. And then that will lead to your outcome of check this out. easily losing and maintaining weight loss. When you thoroughly enjoy something, like I said before, you're not having to white knuckle your way through it. Then how hard do you think losing weight and maintaining weight loss is going to be when you really, 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 really enjoy eating clean and exercising? It's going to be really easy, right? Struggle-free. All right, so I know that you're probably having a hard time. Okay, how can I make clean eating pleasurable? Well, that's going to be success exercise number 4. We're going to work through ways that you can be able to associate pleasure with eating clean foods and how you can make clean eating pleasurable. Notice I didn't say eating healthy. A lot of people, there's a lot of different definitions for eating healthy foods. And, you know, you guys going through my Bikini Mindset boot camp, you know exactly, I defined exactly what clean eating is. And so how are we going to make clean eating pleasurable? Well, here are some examples that you can kind of ask yourself. What clean eating foods and recipes can you find that are rich, savory, and delicious to you? What are all the ways that clean eating improves your mental performance and clarity? How does clean eating improve your physical body in ways that are not related to weight loss? How does clean eating affect your passionate decisions in life? And so, of course, looking at all of these, you're going to see that there's going to be some research on your part. Like, you know, what clean eating foods and recipes can you find that are rich, savory, and delicious? You're going to have to, you know, Google some, you know, clean eating food recipes and possibly try 1 or 2 new recipes every single week until you find ones that are really delicious. And yes, it is very possible to, you know, have a mixture of foods together in a way where they are so delicious that you look forward to that night in the same manner that you would look forward to a pizza, you know, night with your family. There's a couple of nights here where I have a pulled chicken sandwich on, you know, grain-free, sugar-free bread, and it is absolutely delicious, and I look forward to that night. And I have stuffed peppers night that I look forward to in the same manner that I would look forward to, you know, our night out, you know, going out to fast food when I used to do that. So, you know, they exist. Trust me, you will look forward to those foods and those recipes in the very same way that you look forward to maybe spaghetti night at your house or whatever night that you have. You just, you know, it's going to take some time for you to research those and find them and try them out. And remember, you don't have to like everything you try. If you don't like it, you know, throw it out and try another one. And so, and then all the ways that clean eating improves your mental performance and clarity. You won't know how clean eating improves your mental performance and clarity until you've been eating clean for, you know, a couple of weeks, maybe a week to 2 weeks. But if you keep a journal, then, you know, you can write down all of these ways. You know, I've been performing better at work since I've been eating clean because I can focus more clearly. You know, I don't have that fog in my brain anymore. And so there are many ways that clean eating helps to helps to improve your performance and clarity as far as your mind goes. And then how does clean eating improve your physical body in ways that are not related to weight loss? Again, a little bit more research on your part, but I can give you an example. Exercise does a lot more for you than just, you know, manage your weight. It also can help you manage your metabolism, or actually increase your metabolism. It can help you to manage your moods and your stress levels because, you know, when you exercise, it releases all kinds of feel-good chemicals into your body that makes it easier for you to manage whatever stresses in life that you might have. Again, you won't know that until you actually start to do it and then start to pay attention to how you manage your stress levels throughout the day. A little tip here. If you have a really high stress job, you know, or any kind, or just a high stress life in general, I highly recommend that you exercise first thing, you know, that you do in the day. Before you get your day started, let exercise be the very first thing that you do. That way it's going to make the rest of your day so much more easier to handle. And then we're going to go over how clean eating affects your passionate decisions in life. All right, so we're going to talk about your digestive system, your gut, the source of passion. This picture I found from Mark Waldman on Facebook, and I had actually did a post on this on Facebook on January 9th, 2014, if you want to kind of go back on the Facebook page of Bikini Mindset and go check it out. But Mark Waldman had said that it's the gut and not the heart that guides your passionate choices. It has 100 million neurons, while the heart has only 40,000. All right? Your gut has 100 million neurons as opposed to your heart. I mean, there's a big, huge difference there. And so I read that and kind of correlated, and what I understood was that, why my passion and motivation levels seriously tank when I've let some bad eating habits overstay their welcome. Because it turns out that the gut has a brain as well, and it's where passion comes from. So when I eat foods that mess with the neurons in my gut, the result is dull passion and motivation. And I can notice the correlation. My passion and motivation always seem at their highest when I've been eating clean. I mean, it only makes sense. Your digestive system is very sensitive. And so if that is where there are, 100 million neurons, and then you're feeding your body things, foods, and drinking, substances that will damage or, hinder those neurons from working, at their highest potential, you can understand why you might have a hard time feeling passionate about anything. And so there is a huge, huge benefit to eating clean, especially if you're somebody who has been feeling less passionate over the years, or, especially about things that you used to feel passionate about. Try eating clean for a while and give your gut the chance to detox so that your neurons in your gut will be able to work and perform at their highest potential. All right, so tips on making an action pleasurable. All right, so number one, get your close friends and your family involved. Just a brief mention of the top 5. Remember your top 5 people. You can measure your success by taking a close, hard look at the top 5 people you spend most of your time around. And so, say that you need to eat healthy. You want to make eating clean foods a regular action in your life, and you're trying to make that pleasurable. Well, when your top 5 people that you hang around all of the time, they look at clean eating as something that's very painful, you're going to tend to stay in that kind of a mindset as well. Your friends and your family, or whoever you spend most of your time around, influence you in ways that you have no clue how much they influence you. Remember that we talked about how your top 5, they can be either positive anchors for you or negative anchors for you. When you are trying to upgrade or improve your mindset in ways that are self-supporting and not self-sabotaging, if your top 5 friends, if they are not living the kind of life or, doing the kinds of things or taking the kinds of actions to get the results that you want, they are going to be negative anchors for you. And you need to limit your time with, negative anchors. Okay, so notice I said limit, not eliminate. And so if, say these top 5 people, you live with them, right? Then what you need to do is you need to counteract that negative anchor by making new friends with people who are passionate about doing the actions that you need to take to get the outcome that you want. All right, so you don't have to eliminate those negative anchors from your life, but what you need to do is you need to start creating new friendships with people who will serve as positive anchors for you. All right, and so ways that you can do this, or ways that you can help yourself make, any action pleasurable, make new friends with people who are passionate about doing the action. Start or attend a focus group that meets regularly. And right off the bat, I think about Meetup, MEETUP, meetup.com, where, you go in, you create a free account, and, there are usually thousands of groups that people create locally wherever you are at. And, you can find a group that is, centered around whatever interest that you have. And so say that an interest that you're wanting to create for yourself, something that you're wanting to make pleasurable, is clean eating. Well, go on a site like meetup.com and look for groups who are, focused and centered around clean eating. Same with exercise. If one of your actions that you're trying to make pleasurable is exercising, we'll go to a site like meetup.com and look for a group where fitness is their focus, and they meet regularly, at least once or twice. Well, I'd say at least, once every couple of weeks. Ideally, it would be once a week, but no less than once every couple of weeks. They have to meet regularly. All right, so another thing that you can do is you can join or create a fun challenge with prizes and other incentives. Create something where you're going to be making a reward for doing what you do. I mean, it's still getting other people involved, but attaching a reward or a prize or an incentive to continually doing that action. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Beachbody actually has a deal where you can win $500 just for sticking to one of their programs. That's a huge incentive. Other companies do the same thing. If you, a fun challenge that a lot of companies do is the Biggest Loser Challenge. They make it fun. They, tack on prizes and stuff like that to kind of help, make weight loss or make eating clean or make fitness fun. All right, so something else is to create a self-supporting reward system for your continued action. If in the beginning, during those 56 days where you're kind of, you're going through that uncomfortable transition phase where it's, still a forced action that you're having to do, create a self-supporting reward system. So what you can do is every single day that, say one of your habits is to eat out every single day, eat junk food or eat fast food every single day. Well, reward yourself every day that you don't eat fast food. So say that you would normally spend maybe $6 or $7 on a fast food meal. And so instead of, spending that money on a fast food meal, put it in a jar. And then, maybe every couple of weeks, take that money that you saved from not eating junk food or not eating fast food and, go buy yourself a nice pair of designer jeans or, some new shoes or something that, you can use as a self-supporting reward system. Now, a lot of times people will reward themselves negatively. So what I mean by that is people will celebrate a 5 or a 10 pound weight loss milestone by going out to eat a fattening meal. That is not self-supporting. That is self-sabotaging. And so you need to sit down and figure out a way that you can reward yourself in a way that supports your continued action and in a way that supports your end goal. And that's a huge way of doing it. Or you can even save that money to kind of be like your new wardrobe money, for when you finally get to where you want to be. I mean, it's always fun to go shopping for clothes, right? And shoes, heck yeah. And then what you can also do is to brag about your results. There is absolutely nothing wrong with bragging about how well you've done. Your subconscious, your ego actually feeds on that. If you are continuing to, do an action and your ego doesn't see any reward in it, it's not going to want to keep up with it. And so bragging is a way to appease your ego, which is like the gateway of your subconscious. And so if you're trying to make an action a subconscious habit, you need to appease your ego. That's the whole thing with reward systems. So brag about it. That's a reward that your ego shows. Going shopping in reward for continuing to take that action and not take, an action is also a reward that's going to appease your ego. And then another thing to do is to keep a journal and document all positive experiences that result from taking action. We just have a tendency to focus on negative aspects of things, especially when we're in the transition period where, we're taking actions that we really don't want to take. And so if you are keeping a journal and you're documenting all the positive things that you experience as a result of taking that action, you are keeping it fresh in your mind about just how pleasurable it is. One of the things that you'll notice after you've been eating clean for a while is, you'll start to be able to just jump out of bed in the morning without feeling that initial fogginess, Huge thing. You'll have a lot more energy throughout the day that you wouldn't have before. Like I said, in the previous slides talking about, gut passion or gut health is, you'll notice that you'll just have a more passion and motivation towards things, where when you're eating junk food, you don't. Huge pleasure. And so just, keep a journal of those things, because you will forget about them during that transition period of, 56 to 60 days. And you don't want to forget. And then anytime you feel like, you want to slide back into the sabotaging habits, look at that journal and be like, oh yeah, okay, I remember what it used to feel like when I was eating junk food all the time. I had no passion, I had no motivation, I had no energy, I was waking up, it was hard for me to get out of bed in the morning. You got to be able to flip the switch from from associating so much pleasure with eating junk food, and then, to making it to where you're making it painful. You're making it painful to eat junk food. You're, tipping the scale so that it's more pleasurable for you to eat healthy as opposed to painful, right? All right, so that is the end of tonight's call. Let me see if we have any questions. No questions coming through. If you do have any questions, all you have to do is go to the Bikini Mindset Facebook page, and it's facebook.com/Bikini Mindset, and you'll find me real easily. And you can message me either through Facebook, or you can ask a question in the wall. And then for those of you that are participating in the Bikini Mindset Boot Camp, you can go to the VIP Bikini Mindset Facebook page and, ask me there. Or you guys also have my personal email address. You can ask me there as well. If you want to be part of, or if you want to attend the Bikini Mindset Boot Camp, all you have to do is go to bikinimindset.com/results, and you can either just purchase, the video recording of the boot camp, and you can start immediately today, or you can wait for the next live Bikini Mindset Boot Camp, which will also include, the video recordings. There's so much information that I throw at you. I do provide recordings of the boot camps that you'll be able to, go back over, and every time you listen to it, you'll learn something new. So I will talk to you guys next week. We are going to go over in more detail the rules, standards, and expectations that you have that are either helping you to achieve your goal or are actually sabotaging you from achieving your goal. Okay, so don't miss that group meeting. I will talk to you next week, and thank you. Thank you so much for meeting me today. Bye.